Hey YouTube, I'm John. I collect cards. And to borrow a line from John Mangini, you know what I like to do when I see my football team look like the same old Jets? Well, I like to look at baseball cards. So that's what we're going to do for a few minutes here to hopefully quickly wash that game away and look forward to the next week's game, which is a must-win, and we'll see what happens from there. Not expecting too much, though, frankly, because like I said, same old Jets. So, I'm going to show some autographs first, just in terms of some recent pickups I've gotten. I got some new and some old. And we're going to start with the new first. This just came in the mail yesterday. This is a a very interesting redemption. So this is a Gavin Lux Topps Chrome rookie auto. Gavin Lux, I don't think has played at all this year. I know he's had some major injury, but he started coming around and showing maybe what he could do last year. So I have no idea where he even fits in the Dodgers' plans at this point. But I got this card because I had a redemption for about 2 years for Topps that they finally just subbed it out and sent me this instead. And frankly, I'd probably rather have this one. It was for Yoan Moncada autograph from like 2021 Tier 1, I think, that I happened to get in a break 2 years ago when I was participating in breaks. Kind of just sort of, it was actually 2021 was my first year really. I was getting involved in all aspects of the hobby after I got back in, and breaks was a part of that. And I guess I had the White Sox for that particular one, and I hit that autograph, and it. I guess he never signed them or something. So anyway, I just got this yesterday, and it's not numbered, just the base auto, but still pretty cool. I thought to get at least to finally close out the redemption. And then last week, I went to the West Michigan Whitecaps baseball game. It was their last weekend of the season. They're the Detroit Tigers high single A farm club, and one of their top picks or one of their top prospects, Jackson Jobe, is on the team or was on the team this year. And a friend of mine who I went with kind of went up to the dugout and got this autograph for me. So I did not have a Jackson Jobe card on me. He had a few, I guess. He had a couple things signed of his own, and so yeah, I was pretty happy to get this. We'll see how he pans out over time, but I know the Tigers have high hopes for him. But pitchers are always such a always such a crapshoot. Seems like, I don't know. Is it me, or is it like every other starting pitching prospect, well, and relief pitching, they just, Tommy John surgery. I've never heard the phrase Tommy John surgery or UCLs or OCLs or whatever, ACLs, whatever value you got in front of it. Seems like you just hear more than ever in the last 5 years. Maybe I'm wrong there, but with pitchers, obviously, it's such a throw of the dice. But I'm going to show some recent TTMs that I've gotten just from, blasts from the past, that names that, maybe you've heard of or would recall. Here's a Steve Swisher auto. I always thought that name was kind of cool as a kid. Here is one from Mike Caldwell, who I remember more from the Brewers back in the day, but this is maybe his second year card, I think, with the Padres. Those mustard colored unis. And then there's a couple of interesting ones here from 1976 Topps, of which I have a few dozen at this point, maybe like about 40 or so. It's been my favorite through the mail set to work from, just from a big lot of commons I've had. Buzz Capra, who signs pretty regularly, actually. He is most known for having a career year in 1974, where, if I could get this in focus, he led the league in earned run average. It's not really coming through in focus very well, but he had like a 2.28 ERA. You could see his wins and losses and innings pitched. He had a great year in 74. He had an ERA title that year, and actually he picked up a 3-inning save. I believe it was a 3-inning save on April 8th, 1974, which is the night Hank Aaron hit home run number 715. He got the save that night. Pretty interesting little tidbit of trivia there. And also from 76 Topps, I got this autograph that came in about a week ago. Bob Montgomery, backup catcher for a while, but probably more known as being a longtime Boston Red Sox analyst. He teamed up with Ned Martin for oh gosh, at least 10 or 15 years, I'd say. I recall that name growing up and watching him a lot on TV 38. My dad was a Red Sox fan, and so we had those games on quite often for a time. And then some. Oh, actually, I got one more TTM that I'm just going to open really quick. And then I got some vintage pickups of just regular cards here that'll show. This one came from Phoenix, Arizona a couple days ago. Let's just see who it's from. I don't have any like super duper star kind of autos out there, but I've got, a few names, so I'm not sure who this might be. Well, I got an extra. Oh, okay. All right, we'll put that aside. Okay, no big deal. It's cool. And we have Terry Kennedy. Okay. Terry Kennedy, cool auto there, actually, from 1983 Fleer, I believe. Yep. So, okay, and with a little prayer card to go with it. So, thank you, Mr. Kennedy, for that. Very cool. And I'll show a few more recent pickups I've gotten. Actually, the day that I went up to Grand Rapids to see the Whitecaps play last Saturday, I stopped by the Legends, the big card shop in Grand Rapids, picked up two vintage cards that I just, kind of drew my attention. One was this 1954 Bowman Allie Reynolds. Just got really good eye appeal on this. It's not a perfect card by any means because it's got a little bit of a divot in there. It's not a pinhole, but it's got a little bit of a divot in there. But if you can look past that, which of course is difficult to look past, it's a really nice card just to kind of have. I think it's just a beautiful kind of, kind of artwork of a photograph there. So, and I'm not a huge fan of the 54 Bowman set. I think a good number of the images are a little on the dull side, but this one kind of jumped out at me. It's got some issues on the bottom of the card and on the back there with some peeling. Let me get these other cards out of the camera here so maybe the focus will be better. But, so I picked up this Allie Reynolds. I'd say he's got an outside chance still to get into the Hall of Fame one day from whatever, maybe it's the Classic Baseball Committee, but just a beautiful card actually. So I really like that one. And then I also picked up this 1960 Topps Brooks Robinson. It is off center quite a bit, but I don't really have a good vintage era Brooks Robinson card, and so I was sort of like looking through his player run, and this one really jumped out at me. This is I think a fantastic card. And 1960 Topps is not among my favorite sets, but and it's usually because of the alternating letter colors. But in this one, I kind of like this combination. I think it works quite well. Doesn't have like the yellow or the red that other cards in the set have. So maybe it just comes across a little more muted, and maybe so, that way it kind of works with the red background here is kind of a nice contrast. And it's just two great portraits, two great photographs of a budding star third baseman there for the Baltimore Orioles. So this is his, would be his fourth year card, I guess. So just a really nice one. And I will actually send this off to get graded. My hope is that it'll come back at least a 5. If it wasn't so off-centered, I think it would have a chance maybe for something a little better. But yeah, I still want to send this off. I think it'll look great slabbed. Great card there. And then lastly, I'm just going to show two cards, my two most recent pickups for my 78 Topps Hall of Fame run. Got Gary Carter and Lou Brock, both in 8s. So I'm keeping the 8 streak going, but I'm probably going to, it's getting close where I'm looking at a couple. I have a couple in mind that I'm just not really finding in 8s at a price that I'm either willing to pay or 8s that I'm really finding. And so I might finally jump at a couple of 7s here coming up pretty soon, which would be my first ones in this run. I think I have 20 now in all, so a little over a third of the way there. I believe this, let's see, I have 61 in my list to pick up, but that also includes the 2 Pete Rose cards. I think they're 2. I also have Thurman Munson in there, and maybe a couple of other like possible Hall of Famers one day. I think I have Steve Garvey and Dave Parker in there as well. The regular base cards, which I'm not going to pick those up as I build this out, but I have them in there anyway. I think it's like between 55 and 60 is the number of cards in the Hall of Fame run as it is currently. So that's all I have for today. Thanks everyone for watching. Hope you all have a great week, and I'll see you on the next video.